Welcome back. We're going to be reading questions and comments in this edition of the Mind and Magic Mailbag for the end of April 2020. Let's get into it. Hello, Frater. I'm considering changing my name. I don't really have much connection to my name anymore. I'm not sure if maybe that's due to depolarization. In any case, I have pondered the idea of changing my name as part of changing how I identify with myself and how I feel towards myself. However, what I'm most concerned about is picking any certain name and how it may impact my life and my magic. I'm aware that, as you have said, names are powerful seals. I am also concerned with how it may affect me numerologically, although I am not exceptionally well versed in numerology, and I will begin looking into the matter. However, in the meantime, I am wondering if you could offer any guidance or assistance in the matter, and if there's anything in particular that I should watch for in choosing a name. Thanks in advance. All right, so names do have a significant impact over your life. So if you are going to choose a different name, you need to do so with great care. The question I have to ask up front is, why do you feel you don't have a connection with your name anymore? Because you really should be looking at the underlying reason and issue for that before doing something as drastic as changing your entire name. So I would identify the root cause of that first, and also perhaps do the naming exercise in Kabbalah Magic and the Great Work of Self-Transformation by Liam Thomas Christopher. If you are taking that course, I believe it's in the Theuricus grade of air, that there's an exercise that has you pick a different name and call yourself by that name for a large portion of the grade, which, as you know, can be up to 10 months. If anybody calls you by your real name, not to answer them, but insist they call you by your new chosen name. And I'm not going to lie, it can get pretty weird. I remember when I did it, I went by the name that my parents were going to name me, but then changed their mind at the last minute and named me something else. So in my case, I wanted to see what it would be like to go by what they originally intended for me. And yes, people will think that you have gone absolutely insane. But it's a good way to try it out before you make a commitment and illegally change your name and then find out that you don't like that one either. So I would try it before you buy it, my friend. It's not going to hurt anything. It's like trying on clothes, so you can see what actually fits you. Now, when it comes to numerology for names is called Gematria. It's usually done in Hebrew, but it can be done in English. This is why certain names are good Jewish Hebrew names, and they stick to these names because they have good Gematria values. So what it is that each name will have a numerical value that is assigned to it by either Hebrew or English, depending on which system you use. And then that name is compared with other words of that same numerical value. It's like the correspondences for names. In Gematria, you don't want to pick a name with the same numerical value of words that are unfavorable, so to speak. Things such as poverty, illness, war, and they can get worse from there. In my case, I have a lot of good correspondences. However, without giving too much away, my name also shared a numerical value for another word for fool. And I always wondered why I'd run into so many fools. Like, why are there so many incompetent fools around? There can't be this many fools in the world. But once I learned the Gematria correspondences, well, yeah, I'm a fool magnet. I attract a lot of fools. So yes, picking names should not be a trivial thing. I would advise that you run the name that you are wanting to use or pick for your children through a Gematria calculator to see what exactly it corresponds with. And you can find these online. Just search for Gematria. Gematria. There's a calculator at gematrix.org. That's gematrix.org. And when you type in the name, it'll give you the calculated values for both the Hebrew and English. Do not discount the Hebrew. Look at both of them. Hebrew is where it originated, so don't just pass it off. All right, so I hope this helps, and thanks for the question. It have 28,888 views when I'm watching. What does this number mean? It means you're the 28,888th person to watch the video. So congrats. I kind of want to know what the new programs Frater is working on. Maybe a program on working with Goetic spirits or maybe elementals. I can't wait to find out. Well, I'm always working on a few programs at a time. There's usually 2 that I'm actively recording. And when it comes to the others, when inspiration strikes, I'll either work on outlines or artwork. So, I have a whole folder of artwork for planned programs in the future. But to answer your question, I'm still currently working on Laws of Magic 2.0. It's not finished yet, but it is over halfway recorded. So for a while now, I've been going back and forth between recording that and the new program that should be released this coming month. What it is, I'm not going to say. You'll just have to stay tuned and find out. But it's coming. It's coming soon. I'll put it this way. By the time this video is released on YouTube, it will have already been released. And then I'll be working on another program. So thanks for the question and your interest. Hey Frater, thanks so much for your previous video. I was wondering if you were planning on doing a tarot spread regarding the economic impact of COVID-19. No, not really. Because I don't think we need a tarot reading to know what the economic impact is. It's pretty bad. I would probably be open to doing one to find out when it's going to get better. But we pretty much know the economy's in the toilet right now. If I do a reading on something like that, though, it won't be till next month. I'd still want to see what the beginning of May brings. And we're already seeing some states talk about reopening already. Whether or not you agree that's the right thing to do, it's still coinciding with my reading that by the beginning of next month, we should start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully without a second wave, as that would be pretty bad. If we have to go through this, we want this to be a one and done. We don't want to have to do this again. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing any more readings until at least next month to see where we're at and go from there. And thanks for the question. Hey, Frater X, I've legally purchased a few of your courses because I support what you're doing. I'm an information security professional. Read that as hacker that works legally and stays out of jail. I'd like to attempt to steal your products and then tell you how it was done so you could either secure yourself better or at least know where you're weak. I'm not asking for money. My ask is protection from your servitor and knowledge. Let me know if this interests you. No, I don't have a need for that, really. Because, one, I already know how people steal my products, which I'm not going to go over here. But there's nothing that I can do about it, which brings me to number 2. There wouldn't be anything that I could do about it because it's not sold on my site. It's sold on Gumroad, which I do not own. So any security holes are theirs. They're not mine. And 3, I just can't turn off my servitors. They're just on auto until they expire and I have to make more. So I don't get to just turn them off for this person or that person or this situation or that situation. If they think you're stealing, they're coming after you. And there's not really much I'm going to be able to do about that. So in my case, it's probably not that good of an idea, although I do appreciate the offer. So thank you. All right, so in the interest of time, I'm just going to summarize this next one. This is from someone who's wanting to start a company and grow it as large as possible. He had his natal chart done and has 3 planets in his second house, which consists of Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. He's currently in the process of having the logo for the company designed and was considering hiding the 3 planetary symbols in the logo. Wants to know if it's a good idea or not. Jupiter for growth, absolutely. Saturn, probably not. I know you said it could represent a foundation, but Saturn also represents restrictions and obstacles and contraction, which would not correspond with the growth that you're seeking. It's kind of like Saturn and Jupiter would almost cancel each other out. One's expansive, one's contractive. Pluto I would probably leave out as well. Pluto is known for its extremes, and that could be extremely good or it could be extremely bad. I would just consider leaving Pluto out altogether. It is Hades, the lord of the underworld, after all. So I'm not sure I would want to put him in my logo. A lot of companies in the know use the astrological sign of the sun in their logo because the sun gets attention. The sun is seen. And if you want customers, you have to be seen. So the sun and Jupiter are the two astrological symbols that I would probably put in there, even though the sun is not in your second house. They don't have to be in your second house for you to use them. And thanks for the question. And that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, and especially those who wrote in and asked their questions. Thank you for all your love and support. Follow me at all the usual places: Twitter at Frater Xavier, Facebook.com/mindandmagick. We're on Patreon and Subscribestar, and even over at BitChute. I'll be working on more to come, and I will see you soon. Take care.